They say the silence of the mountains can heal a man's soul. But for me, the silence was starting to feel heavy, like a held breath. I woke up in that cabin with no memory of arriving, just the smell of pine and the lingering chill of the early morning air. There was a cup of coffee waiting for me, steaming, fresh, as if someone had just set it down and stepped away into the shadows. When I touched the handle, the heat was searing. Too real. But Himera pulled back, my heart hammering against my ribs for no reason I understood. I checked the door. Locked. I checked the windows, latched from the inside. I was alone, yet I felt eyes on the back of my neck. Every corner of the cabin seemed to hold a secret. I started searching, looking for anything that didn't belong in this mountain retreat. My SUV was still parked outside, buried under a fresh layer of pristine snow. It looked like a tomb in the middle of a white desert. I tried to start it, but the ignition stayed silent. When I popped the hood, I saw why. The wires were cut with terrifying precision. Panic began to set in. I went back inside and took a tape measure to the walls. Something was wrong with the dimensions of this place. The exterior measurements didn't match the interior. There was dead space behind the kitchenette, a void that shouldn't have existed in a simple cabin. I pulled back the rug and found it. A hidden trapdoor, perfectly flush with the floorboards. It felt like walking into a trap I'd already set. I descended into the darkness, but what I found wasn't a cellar. It was a high-tech nightmare, a sterile replica of my own city bedroom. Against the far wall, a bank of digital tablets glowed. They were all showing me live feeds from every corner of the cabin above. I watched myself on the screen, but there was a delay, a 3-second lag between my reality and the digital one being recorded. Then I saw him. On the screen, a man was standing right behind me. Simon, my law partner. But when I turned around, the room was empty. I swiped through the files on the tablets. Years of footage. I watched the seasons outside the cabin windows change in the blink of an eye. Christmas in July. A summer sun that never set. It wasn't a cabin. It was a simulation. And I was the only occupant. I opened a file labeled Subject 04. Simon appeared on the screen, looking older, his eyes filled with a cold, calculated vengeance. He talked about a loop, a digital purgatory designed to contain my trauma, to keep me reliving the same day until I truly understood. His voice came through the speakers, calm and terrifying. He told me I had found this cellar 14 times before. 14 times. I had forgotten. I grabbed a fire poker I'd brought from upstairs and smashed the monitors. I wanted to break the world that was breaking me. But the truth didn't shatter. It flashed before my eyes in a series of jagged, painful memories. A rainy night. Headlights. The sound of twisting metal. I saw her. Simon's daughter. The girl I had killed because I was too busy looking at a legal brief to look at the road. The cabin walls began to flicker. The wood grain turned into lines of code, dissolving into a blinding, featureless white light. I climbed out of the trapdoor and stepped into nothingness. Standing there was the real Simon. He looked decades older than the man I knew. He told me my body was in a facility, miles away. A vegetable sustained by machines. This simulation was my only life now. He looked down at his tablet and swiped a finger across the screen. Delete, he whispered. We start the cycle again, Mark. I woke up. Not in the cabin, but in a normal apartment. The sun was shining. I felt safe. I felt forgiven. But then, I saw it. A seam in the wall where the wallpaper didn't quite match, and a fly on the baseboard, frozen in midair. I walked to the hallway mirror, desperate to see my own face, but the reflection didn't show my apartment. It showed the snowy woods. Simon was there in the reflection, standing right behind me. He was holding a ceramic coffee cup, a faint smile on his lips. I looked down at the coffee in my hand. The dark liquid wasn't reflecting the light anymore. It was mobbing, shifting into patterns. The surface of the coffee became a screen. I saw myself, a tiny figure made of flickering green code, trapped in a ceramic bowl. There is no escape from a prison built out of your own guilt. The loop continues. The mountains are waiting, and the silence. The silence is the loudest thing of all.